Hello, everyone, and welcome to the New View podcast. My name is Mac.
And my name is Megan.
Come along with us as we dive into the world of competitive Irish dancing and beyond.
Sharing perspectives, developing community, and learning from each other.
We hope you enjoy.
We are so excited to welcome Harlow Quinn to New View today. Harlow's not only a great dancer, but such a lovely girl with a unique story in dancing. She dances for Got Houghton in Western Canada, and she's a talented dancer who's been on the rise for quite a while and just recently placed second in North America. We're so excited to talk to her today and learn all she has to say as a rising star in the world of Irish dance. So, Harlow, we're excited to talk to you and get to know you better.
Me too. I'm so excited. Thank you guys so much for having me. And yeah, I can't wait to get into this.
So I'm also obviously from Western Canada. So Harlow, I've gotten to see you grow up a little bit in dancing. So I know sort of your backstory a little bit, but maybe for everybody else, could you sort of just give us a bit of a rundown of your dancing journey so far?
Yeah, for sure. So I started dancing when I was 5 years old, but I feel like I've been dancing since I was a baby. As I've been told, Scarlett, my sister, started Irish dancing when she was 4. So I got to see her grow up with it. And there's videos of me trying to do over jumps and kicks when I'm like 3 years old. And obviously they're a little bit crazy, but I think my family knew that I was meant to be a dancer. Some of on my dad's side, my cousins danced. So they made it to the national level. So it was kind of like not common in my family, but definitely like not unique. We've known of it before. So yeah, and both my parents were athletes, so they knew we were going to be in sports some way or another. But yeah, I started dancing at the Houston Academy when I was 5 years old, and that's where I fell in love with it. My teachers, Sally, Kim, and Carrie Houston, were like my second family. Sally's like my third grandma. We were just so close and such a close-knit group. And yeah, that's really where I learned all my steps, found how much I love this sport, and yeah, just really had a great community with it. And yeah, I was placing pretty well locally and nationally. Like I was recalling at North Americans and I got top 5 at Western Canadians a couple of times. So yeah, I was really good with Houston Academy and it was just like a lot of fun. It was definitely a fun environment. And then in the summer of 2023, we found out actually on Max World's party day. It was like such a great day because I got to see like and meet like both of you guys. But it was also an emotional one because we found out that the Houston Academy was sadly closing down. And it wasn't like a massive shock to us, but it was still really hard to take because I was like, I don't know anything other than this amazing kind of environment that I've been in. So it was really scary at first, but I realized that, you know, there's something on the other side. There's going to be something exciting to look forward to. So we immediately knew that Got Houghton was going to be my new family. And we met with Ian and Elspeth and we just clicked. Like, we just knew that, yeah, this is going to be my new atmosphere environment that I'm in. And yeah, we've never looked back. It's been a great 2 years almost with Got Houghton, and it's just been a roller coaster of emotions, lots of highs, a couple of lows, obviously, as every dancer has, but no, it's been a great experience. And yeah, so that's kind of been my dancing journey so far.
Pretty cool. I think that whole because I've been with the same dancing school my whole life, so I can't even imagine sort of what that transition would be like. And like you said, I'm sure it was pretty kind of scary and like going into the unknown. And I feel like I don't know, can you like speak to that a little bit more, like what that was like, kind of going, it's a unique situation a little bit, like
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
right?
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah, so what was that like a little bit that and that was also kind of close to COVID or not, I guess not really.
Yeah, it was like coming out of COVID, there was like only like 6 or 7 of us left at Houston Academy, and sometimes I'd go to classes and it was just me and Scarlett or me and my one friend. So it was definitely hard to stay motivated, but we kind of once that happened, I remember like bursting into tears because I was like, what's going on? Like I didn't know any other life from this like super close family. Like we'd have 3 teachers on us and there'd be 5 of us there. Like we were so close. But Yeah, it was just the unknown. Like we didn't know what a band was like. We didn't know transferring schools what that would be like if we'd know everyone or if like it's just a lot to deal with right at the moment. But we broke it down into steps and we're like pros and cons, like how are we gonna deal with this? And yeah, it was just it was really a smooth transfer. Within like a week, we decided we were gonna transfer to Got Houghton, and we were so lucky that we got the 1 day exemption. Like we had the 1 day to compete at the Oireachtas in 2023. So, and that's like a whole other story, but it was really scary, but I felt so prepared for that Oireachtas because of the teaching staff that we had at Got Houghton. There was just so much they're so invested in us. So it was just a completely different change of like trajectory from being really like only a couple five of us at like a massive studio to like 40 of us at not a smaller studio, but it's just a different space. And but yeah, it was really cool to see how different dance can be in different studios and different teaching people and everything. But yeah, no, it was definitely a good transfer. It was just a little unknown at first for sure.
Yeah. I feel like that's cool. It sounds like it was mostly like reinvigorating. And even though, yeah, maybe kind of scary, like the unknown and whatever, I think sometimes like those are the opportunities where like there's the opportunity, I guess, for the most growth and to learn new things. And just, yeah, I think that's really interesting too. You kind of brought that up, the difference between like being five of you in a class going to 40 in a class, like, because I think sometimes as dancers and like it is logical to an extent we get kind of hung up on like oh well I don't get enough attention in the class because there's so many other kids or whatever but I think like there is pros and cons to both like sometimes you need that more one-on-one time like depending on where you're at in your career and like what you're learning and all that stuff but then there's so much to be gained from like being in a big class and like having that like the energy of pushing each other I think.
Yeah, yeah. It was like even at Got Houghton though, we get so much one-on-one time. It is so crazy how much the teachers are invested in us. Like we go over like class by 40 minutes like every time. Like there is no time frame. It just kind of keeps going. But I remember sometimes like one of the first classes I had, it went over a lot and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do this anymore. But I remember all the times where I was wanting more and wanting to be taught for longer and wanting to like have that crazy like stamina booster right at the end. So it's like kind of a mental change of being like, no, it's exciting that you're in this new atmosphere with a bunch of new people. So yeah.
That's really cool. Do you think to like just as you're saying all of this, I was thinking because you started like telling us about your Irish dance journey and really touched on like your love for dance when you were younger. How would you describe the like ebb and flow kind of that love of dance as you've like grown up in one dance environment and then kind of grown into another? Has it been consistent? Or I would imagine there's been at least some kind of change, but I would just be curious to know like how that's kind of grown with you.
Yeah, I would say that I've always just loved Irish dancing. Like it's been a part of me, but specifically in these last 2 years, I feel like it's really been like it's like my thing. I'm like, no, I'm an Irish dancer. Like this is it's not my identity, but it's a lot of my life. And in some points, I feel like I took it not too far, but sometimes it gets a little overpowering in the amount that you not identify with it, but that you put so much into it. But I've really lately been changing my mindset into like more of a positive frame that I'm allowed to love Irish dancing so much and it's not like a never a negative thing that you put so much into a sport. So it really has I would just say it's grown my love for dancing, especially my love for training. When I was really little, I loved competing. Like you couldn't take like I just ran onto stage. I'd want to go on stage so badly. And now obviously it's still the same. Like I still get that excitement vibe before I go up, but it's definitely the training that I love more. Like there's nothing like we have set classes on Sunday. Like there's nothing like coming back from a set class after you work super hard and like you're sweaty and you're gross, but you kind of love it. It's like, okay, yeah, like I did that. I just did that. So I love that part of dancing and I also just love where it's taken me in my life. Like obviously traveling has been insane. I've been so lucky to travel to so many different places, but it's just the love of learning and growing and that's just what I found out, especially moving to Got, how much of a dancer I've changed, both physically, a lot physically, but mentally and how I look at things. So yeah, it's definitely been a growing year and a growing kind of whole thing throughout this transfer. But yeah, no, it's been great.
So, do you think part of like, I don't know, because when somebody asks me the question of like, what do you love about Irish dancing? I find that a very difficult question to answer because I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't know, I just love it. Like, I don't know. I just love everything about it. And at times I can like, if I'm being really honest, I can hate everything about it. Like there have been times where I felt that way. And I'm curious for you, Harlow, if like you've reflected on this much at all. It's like, can you pinpoint like what it is? Like what the things that were coming to mind when you were just speaking now is like it sounds like you love the chase. Like it sounds like you love the process of it, as well as sort of those like end product moments of like when you go on stage and it all comes together. But
Yeah.
it also sounds like you love the community aspect. Like I don't know, do you know for what it is for you? And it could be I obviously like multiple of those things, but
Yeah, no, for sure. I've loved like this quote, it's like the process of becoming. That's like my favorite thing. It's like who I'm becoming because of everything that's like that's happened to me. But no, I've just loved dancing, just putting on my shoes and just like being able to be creative and make up steps. Like that's my favorite part. And sometimes like the competition aspect gets a little overwhelming. Like if I'm competing, I'm like, oh, rock, this is next week. Like, oh my gosh, I have so many like expectations of me, like what's gonna happen. But like really felt before this North Americans that I honestly didn't put like any pressure on myself at all. And I feel like that's when I dance the best, when there's no expectations of me or anything. And that's what I love about dance is that you never know what's gonna happen. And it's just like exciting in that way because you can take that in a negative, like, oh, I don't know what's gonna happen, like stuff could go on stage and the results. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, anything can happen. Like it's so exciting that you get to have that experience on stage and that anything could go well and anything could happen. But yeah, it's just like the process of becoming the person that I want to be is the main thing I love about Irish dance because in every other sport, like especially like my mom always says like, "Oh, Harlow, you should just be a track athlete or something." Like you get a time and whatever that time is, you're scored on that and then if you win, you win. But I've always said like how good would it feel if I do all the work and then I do like get that extra kind of validation. Like there is no better feeling than that. So it just makes up for all the time where you're disappointed or frustration that you do have a good day and it does work out. So that's kind of it's just like the process of being the person you want to be and learning how to grow from disappointments and frustrations. But yeah, it's definitely like yeah, I don't not love anything about dance, but just specifically like who I'm becoming because of it is my favorite part of it.
that is
I, yeah, well, I like love that you said that, and I know Mac would say the exact same thing because we talk about the idea of like becoming all the time in terms of like whatever your thing is in life. For us, it's going to be dancing, like through our vessel, Irish dancing is how we become who we are and like the lessons we learn and how you learn to work hard and overcome disappointment. And I love that you said that Irish dancing is different than other sports like track in that you can win, like, yes, win the fesh, but you can also win like within yourself too. And that is, in my opinion, what helps you to like become who you are when you have those really deep moments of like learning about yourself that only come when you've done the hard work and put your very best out there and not gotten a good result. And that kind of like dealing with that, or on the flip side of working really hard and finally getting a good result you've been after, there's something like unique in dancing that does that, that maybe other sports might have similar aspects, but I think that's what's unique about dance and how it creates like these really cool people that have all these great ideas and like talk about things like this because it is unique in that way. So I don't know, I just love that you said that. And I love to talk about the idea of becoming all the time.
thank you.
Yeah.
Um, maybe I could piggyback off of what Megan was saying just now, as well as like, yeah, there dance does present us plenty of opportunities for, like this stretching or like feeling this like tension or like, people put it in terms of like frustration or disappointment or whatever. I don't know, like Harlow, if you've thought about this much at all, or if you've just sort of been doing it, I guess, by feel, kind of as we all maybe are. But just for anybody who's maybe going through like a disappointing result right now or like dealing with something challenging in dance, like can you think back to times you've gone through challenges and like what has helped you or like how have you been able to like benefit, I guess, from going through those situations?
Yeah, for sure. I've had specifically, I would say this year was definitely, it wasn't like the hard year of me dancing. Like I was dancing well, I was feeling great about everything. It was just like it never felt like I was there. Like I was so close to something and then it was like it's just not, it wasn't coming together. Everything wasn't falling into place, which was frustrating because I don't think I've ever worked as hard as I did this year. And it was hard. Like my teachers were like, Harlow, we don't know what's happening. Like it's gonna fall into place at one point, but it's just not right now. And specific, like really after Worlds, that's where I had to reevaluate myself because I didn't get what I had wanted. And yeah, it wasn't my best dance day, but I felt that I had like deserved more, which is really frustrating. But you have to realize that it's all part of the process and that everything does happen for a reason. And I told myself that repeatedly. So if anyone is going through a rough patch, it's just tell yourself like everything happens for a reason and so the light is around the corner and you never know if you don't try. So I felt really like not giving up, but I was like, ugh, like how much harder can I work? How much more can I do? And I don't get what I want. But I had to really look at what I was doing training wise and make adjustments. Like I was such in a schedule and regimented, like I'm very structured that I was like, no, I need a little bit more flow. Like maybe I could take a day off instead of training for 8 days in a row and possibly hurting myself. Like I need to feel my body more. And also just reevaluating your mindset and how your mind really does take a toll on how you're going to dance and how your performance comes out because your mind is so powerful and you can talk yourself in and out of anything. So, yeah, it's just really important to keep talking to yourself positively and never getting in like a I can never do it mindset. Like it's around the corner, just trust yourself and trust your training and yeah, like the light is around the corner, just you got to believe in it.
There's so many good nuggets, I feel like, in what you just said. So sorry, I'm just gotta say it.
That's fine.
So one of them, it sounds like to me, a little bit of a theme was like sort of like trust, like developing a sense of trust. And it's like I think as dancers, a lot of the time, and like it's necessary, like we want to like control everything. Like we want to be so practiced that like we just know we're gonna do it a certain way, or like, you just want to prepare, which like I believe that there is a place for that, but at the same time, like you have to have a level of trust in like things are going to unfold as, maybe they're meant to, or like in a way that you, like you said, you can talk yourself in and out of anything, like in a way that's going to actually help you in the long run. And I think I definitely remember being there at many phases in my career where I was just like, I am at a loss because I feel like, and Megan, I think you can speak to this too, but like I just feel like I'm doing everything that I possibly can, and I don't know why things aren't just like clicking or like lining up as they should, like in the moments that they're important or whatever it might be. And I remember times where it sounds cliche, but it was just like I was losing faith and trust in myself because I was like, I feel like from the inside I'm doing what I need to be doing.
Yeah.
And this was just a thought that occurred to me after being at the Nationals this week. It was like, sometimes I wonder like we talk a lot about like believing in ourselves and like having to have that sense of like belief in yourself, which is great. But I think sometimes we need to be able to just like trust that we don't know. Like we need to trust that we can't know, and oftentimes we have these people around us that are, like it sounds like your teachers are very much in your corner, or like your parents or your siblings or whatever. It's like they can almost see like that things will line up eventually, but you can't see it yet. So it's almost enough to just be able to trust them. And it's hard to trust somebody else, I think.
Yeah.
Um, but like I know Megan and I have said this to each other before, and I've said this to other dancers in my school and whatever. It's just like, I know you don't feel like you can do this right now, and this sounds kind of bad, but I'm like, you need to trust that I know more than you. And that, like, I know that you can do it. And it's like, I don't care if you don't believe in yourself right now. You just need to believe that I know. And that's
Yeah.
for right now. And I just wonder if that resonates with you at all.
A lot. Like this whole year, my teachers, both Ian and Elspeth, I would say specifically Elspeth this year has been like so like, like we're almost there. Like you're so close, but it just hasn't like snapped, like it hasn't clicked in. But this nationals, like I don't know what it was, but it was just like even the day before, I was like super tired and it was really weird. I was like, uh-oh, like what is going on? Like tomorrow I need to have a good day. And it was my mom as well. She kind of like not snapped me out of it, but it was like you will be so happy with yourself if you do what you want to do. And it's like if you put it out there and you dance your best, like who knows what could happen. And that's kind of what that's what I was the theme of this nationals was like just put it out there because anything could happen. And yeah, it was just the day of I just felt it. Like I don't know what it was. I woke up and I was like, yeah, today's gonna be a good day. Like it just felt like it was gonna be a good day. And not always that doesn't always happen. And sometimes it happens and it's wrong. Like the intuition is not always in line. But no, it just felt right. And after my first round, usually it's a little dodgy. Not dodgy, but it's not usually it's solid. But like my teacher was like, that was the best I've ever seen you dance. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I just felt like this like fire in me. I was like, okay, like today is gonna be the day, like it's gonna happen today. So yeah, and it's like you never know, but it just feels great when you know other people, not they don't know, but they other people think that something's gonna kind of like happen. So yeah, it's just like a good feeling to know that other people trust in you and believe in you because it definitely was a long time coming for it to happen. And yeah, that's kind of what you have to believe in other people believing in you if you don't believe in yourself. So it's good to have people in your corner that you can trust and that you love and that they know what's best for you. So, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And I think for so long, like as dancers and athletes, there is a period where you have to build that like trust within yourself and work really hard to like know that you've done enough. But it gets to a
Yeah.
certain point when you're at like an elite level where you are doing the work day in and day out, and the more you like overanalyze and overthink it, that's when you get into overtraining and all of that. But like you're saying, when you can rely on your people to trust in that for you,
Yeah.
and then you yourself can kind of let go and say, okay, I'm going to trust my people and all of that. And I know I could spend hours questioning if I've done enough or worked harder or whatever, but that's not the best use of my time and mental
Mhm.
resources. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna let it go. And whether I let it go and things fall apart or I let it go and things go great and it's the best day ever, there's some chance in there too, but a lot of that is just really trusting in your people and yourself to say, you know what, I've done the work. It's been years of this. I can trust in my ability and literally just like let everything else go because
Yeah.
I think that is really, really key. Because once you've, again, like hit that elite kind of level, questioning your training is not really going to do a whole lot for you other than, like ruin the day or
Yeah, for sure.
everything really. But
Yeah.
it just, I think you touched on some great points and you're obviously like super wise.
Nope.
So
Sure, sure.
I think you're very wise, Harlow. And actually, that's why I want to ask you both this question because I think it's something you've both experienced just from having conversations with both of you. But how do you know, like, and is it just a development of self-awareness? And Harlow, from what you were saying before, it kind of sounds like you've really been good at developing it this year. Like, how do you sort of, I guess, develop the sense of like, okay, I need to like still really stick to this routine, or I need to do something differently as far as my training. Like, I'm getting burnt out, or I'm like, this isn't right anymore, even though maybe it was right in the past. Like, how do you feel that out? as a dancer training for something? And it's like that's a hard question maybe, but
Yeah. Um, Yeah, I would say I'm very, not necessarily these past couple months, but I've been very like regimented. Like every single night, I do the same stretching routine. I do like when I practice at home, I kind of do the same like structure of a practice. And yeah, it worked for a really long time. It worked for like a good year and a half, and it was good. And I remember talking to Scarlett, and she was like, Harlow, why do you keep doing the same things? And I'm like, well, because they're working. And she's like, well, maybe something else could be better. Like maybe you could be doing something different and you could be doing better. And I'm like, I never really thought of it. And then I kind of like, I was like, I'll push it aside. I'll wait until like after a competition to like change what I'm doing. And I did it, like I did like a similar structure up to Worlds. And then I realized I was like, okay, like not that it's not cutting it, but I'm like, I just need to change what I'm doing, both mentally, physically, and emotionally at this point. So I really would just decided to change like not only like my stretching routine, obviously, but like how I was practicing. And maybe I could practice before I go to class, or maybe I could add in a couple exercises or do a workout before like a big night of class or something, like just doing little things because I felt before I was so like in this frame of, oh, Irish dance is my life. I've been doing so much. Like I was almost like thinking I was doing more than what I was doing, which felt weird because I thought I felt like I was doing everything possible. But then I really stepped back and I was like, oh, well, I haven't done like those exercises in a long time. Like, why don't I add that back in on blah, blah, blah these days? And I feel like that really helped me because I was able to be like, okay, for the first hour this morning, I'm gonna work on this because this is gonna help me in my dancing. And then at night, and then I could kind of leave it for the day. And then at night, when I go and practice, I can think about those things I was thinking about in the morning. And instead of just like having the whole day kind of captivated by being like, oh, I need to do this and doing that and never actually doing it, I was just like, kind of just do it in the morning, just do it, and then be done with it. And then when you come out and take it out of the box again, like it's just like different now. I feel like my whole kind of training was so like full of Irish dance, and now I compartmentalized it and made it a little bit more flowy, not as structured, if that makes sense.
I like that. It made it a bit more flowy. Yeah, that's cool. Because I think like what we do is very creative too. And like it's this hard thing because it really does require that routine and structure and training and regimen. Like, and it also kind of does require that space for flowiness, I think. I don't know. Megan, what
Yeah.
are your thoughts on that?
I don't know. I was thinking just trying to listen as Harlow was talking the whole time and come up with like a good explanation myself because I don't really know what I would say, but I like how you put it, Harlow, just kind of figuring out that it doesn't need to be something that occupies like your brain 24/7
Hmm.
every single day, all the time. That's great. You can love Irish dance and that can be you and your personality. But I like how you said kind of maybe do something in the morning with it, tie it up, leave it in its nice box. And then when you're going to go to class later or practice again, then it can come out. But by giving it time, like a distinct set time in the morning and then in the evening or whatever your schedule is, I think that allows you to have that kind of like creative approach and get more out of it instead of being like, okay, like today or this week, I'm really working on my turnout and it's all I'm thinking about 100% of the time. Like,
Hmm.
that's where you kind of get into that burnout and just like, oh, I don't want to do this. Like, it's so consuming. And yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot to work on. That's true.
Yeah.
But by giving it its like distinct times. I don't know. I really like how you said that. And I think that's what I'm working on now, but maybe didn't really realize that I was trying to do that because I'm someone who definitely would do Irish dance every single hour of the day all the time.
Yeah.
But in
Yeah. Me
doing
too.
that,
Me too.
yeah, that's really great and awesome. And clearly we've got some passion, but that almost makes it seem like work and really daunting and tiring, and it's less enjoyable when it's a constant thing, but giving it tons of dedication and time works great when then you can be like, okay, that's enough for now. I've worked on this. I'm gonna go give something else some time, whether that's also dancing related or maybe just like hanging out with friends. I think realizing that you can make space for other things is huge. Like in terms of just you as a person and you as a dancer, you just learn more about yourself and what you like and dislike. And I think any way you can learn more about yourself just as Harlow or Megan or Mac, like that makes you a better dancer because you're enjoying life to a more full extent, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, and sorry, back, I want to say one thing. Um, there was like what were you talking about, like work, and that's completely how I felt. Like I feel like leading up in this year, I felt like I was so invested in dance, but it almost felt like work. Like every day I woke up and I'm like, okay, like here we go, day whatever of doing this. Whereas now I feel like it's such like a enjoyment. Like, oh, I get like I wake up and I'm like, oh yes, I get to go to dance today instead of being like I have to, which is such a big mindset shift, especially like during stamina drills or doing another Kilkenny full or something, and it's not fun, but you're like instead of being, oh, like I have to do this, my teachers are making me, it's like, no, I get to do this because they're wanting me to be better and I want myself to be better. So, yeah, it definitely feels when you kind of compartmentalize it and have it in little chunks of your day instead of the whole day, you love it and enjoy it a lot more.
And do you think it takes like going through that kind of hard phase of being like, oh, this is work, like I'm burnt out, this isn't fun, to kind of reach that? I think yes, you kind
Yeah,
of
I
have to
think so,
live
yes, yeah.
through it
Yeah.
being hard and frankly like unenjoyable to then have some perspective, have good conversations with your team and all of that, and then go from there and say, how can I reframe and shift? Because I think we can realize it's a problem and feeling like work, but without hitting like a stretch of like, wow, this is like a low kind of phase. Like this is really
Mhm.
not fun.
Yeah.
Um, it's hard to make a shift, you know? So I think it's interesting. Like it does kind of take those hard moments to say, okay, I'm gonna like change this. But once you do, it's obviously super powerful and you clearly have shown that. So
Definitely.
Yeah.
Um, I just I'm just want to build on that a little bit too. Like I'm curious, have you guys ever felt like um because I think for me, I've gotten into those phases where I get really locked into like this is how I have to do my training and like this is the schedule I have to stick to. And then I feel like I would get myself into this spot where like I didn't want to do it, but I also didn't want to not do it because I knew if I didn't do it, I'd feel guilty. And then I was like, ugh, which one's worse? Like making myself do it and not like the discomfort and like the unpleasantness of the doing it or like the unpleasant feeling of not doing it. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm in this like spot where I like can't win. Like this is
like
just,
neither thing is serving you and you have to pick
Yeah.
which is like
yeah,
slightly less worse, like skipping or just doing it and like not enjoying it.
Yeah.
feeling like so trapped in that because I was like, how do I fix this? Because then there's a third element of like it's like a comfort to sort of have that routine and like sort of like a safety of like, oh, I've done all the things. And then
Well, once you've found that, that's so great. Once you found it and it works, but
Mhm.
once it's
When
done
it's
its
not
time,
working, it's
it's
like,
done its time.
yeah.
for me, like I feel like it takes a bit of bravery almost to like break that cycle or to like actually choose to do something different because like I don't know, I would definitely get anxious about like, oh, I'm doing something different today in my what I would normally do or what I should be doing today. And even in doing something different, I would kind of like overanalyze like, oh, was this the right thing to do? Like, is that going to help my set improvement as much as the other thing would have done or whatever? And I think like sometimes it takes that like push or that bravery to try something different. And actually, the more I've found, the more I've like being intentional with changing up my routine and trying new things and whatever, it's like that gets less scary to do. And it's interesting because like I still feel like I could get better at dancing and by doing different routines and doing different things all the time. And like definitely consistency is important, but I don't know. I just think it's a neat topic to think about like how do we combat burnout and how do we combat that feeling of like getting trapped in that cycle. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like I almost have to tell myself or and still have to tell myself like you'll never know if you don't try. And I think it's like if you don't try something new, like you'll never know how it would have benefited you because if you're kind of stuck in the same spot, and you're doing the same things, it's like nothing changes if nothing changes. And that's so true because if you're not doing anything different, I don't know how anyone, or especially I expected a different result, but that's not how life kind of works. So it's changing up what you do. And although it may not like benefit you right away, it might kind of backfire in like a different way. But if you stick to what you're doing, but also add a little bit of different consistent, like a different plan, it will probably help you in the end. I guess it's like you never know what's gonna happen, but like if you're stuck in the same spot, like you might as well try. I guess that's kind of like
Yeah,
trying.
there's no harm when once you're at that point and like craving change, there's no harm in it. Whether
Yeah.
it fails and doesn't work, okay, then you go from there and try the next thing and
Mhm.
see. Or maybe it works great and you're like, oh, thank God, like this finally feels better, you know? So I think you're exactly right. There's no harm in trying because you're totally right. Nothing changes if nothing changes, and it's really hard and scary to make even what is like a tiny change because it's built a lot of like security for you in your sport and all of that. And it's like a nice little safety blanket. And it's hard to just be like, okay, I'm gonna like step outside of this just for a moment and see if this works. But in doing so, it's yet to fail me. So I think it works.
Yeah.
Speaking of change, maybe just pivoting the subject a little bit.
Mhm.
We've all, established we all love Irish dancing very much and we love it the way it is and it's great. But Harlow, like if you could change something about Irish dancing, what do you think it might be?
I think it would be like I don't know how to explain it like competitions, but I think just performance. I have always felt that I am not, like I love performing. It's my favorite thing. Like I love making up dances. I like post them on social media because I'm like I love to spread that. That's my way of showing how I love dancing. And I just sometimes wish we would have more of that, more fluidity. I don't know if that's a word, but like more um just not having it so structured. And I'd like to have competitions where it's like like more freestyle. I know we've incorporated that at many competitions now, but more like improv or just making up a step, like showing how creative you can be instead of just going on stage three at a time and dancing in a wig and a dress. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the sparkles, I love all of that, but I just sometimes wish it could be a little bit more fun and not as like intense. Because I've had family members come to a fesh and they're like, "What is this? Like, you do this for fun?" And I'm like, "I swear it's fun. Like, I love when I'm on stage. It's just like this is a little chaotic and crazy and can seem from the outside world like that it's not really a sport when it such is. It's such a big sport. So I just wish there was a little bit more fun aspects in it. And I feel like a lot of feshes in Western Canada have started to do that. Like I'd say the Blakey Fesh is like getting the most fun out of all of them. Like we have a fun little costume day, which is nice. But yeah, I just wish that we could have a little bit more flow and fun within dancing.
Yeah, I think there's plenty of cool room for evolution. Like, of course, like in our own journeys, and then like those in our own journeys, like goes beyond into like where could Irish dancing go as a whole, which is kind of cool. Kind of
Yeah.
human scheme. I love that. Cool. Well, this has been such a cool conversation, and I've just like loved getting to chat to both of you about dancing. And we're so excited for you that, you had this really awesome result at the North Americans. You've like persevered through so much, and you're such a great role model, I think, for lots of dancers. So, yeah, it's been so awesome. Thank you for coming on with us today.
Thank you guys both for having me. You're both like such big idols to me. Like obviously Mackenzie, I've grown up watching you since I was a little girl, and Megan, I've had the pleasure of meeting you in person, but also seeing you online. It's just so special to know you guys both. And yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for joining us in this episode of the New View podcast. We hope you enjoyed.
If you have any ideas about future guests we should interview or want to connect, you can find us on Instagram at newview.collective or email us at newviewcollective.mm@gmail.com.